I did it! I bloody did it, guys. Today I'm going to answer all your questions and do a huge race debrief. If you haven't seen my last video, I kind of vlogged the whole week leading up to the marathon and including the marathon day. So if you want to watch that, go watch that and then come to this video to answer all of your questions. And let's just have a minute for this insane medal. So I asked on Instagram for any questions that you guys had, and I'm just going to answer them right here, right now. The first question is, were you happy with your choice of kit and outfit? So the outfit that I wore, I'd worn before because I wanted to test out if it was okay. So I wore the same style of shorts and the same style of sports bra, which was all good. And I also had a belt on me. Now I've been training in the vest, Solomon vest, for the whole training until 2 weeks prior, where I tested this big belt that you can fit so much in, and it was fine on the training runs. However, because there was loads of showers on the course, the belt suddenly got super heavy, and it was pretty heavy anyway with all my gels in, and it really hurt. It really hurt my back and it was so uncomfortable for literally 37 kilometers. I don't think anything would have prepared me for that, because I would have never experienced like having a shower and having it all wet around my waist. Like, that was nothing I was going to experience in training really. So it was kind of just unlucky that there were showers that I needed to cool down in, but as a result made my belt so heavy and not good. What did you use to fuel and at what points? So I took a gel, a SIS gel every 30 minutes, so that for me was every 5k, and I also took those salt sticks as well. I'd never taken them before, which is a risk, but I knew it was going to be a very hot day and they really helped. Like, I didn't cramp once. And then I took some Cliff Block chews. They're basically sweets, and they really give me a boost of energy, so I had them every single half an hour. So a gel, a salt stick and a sweet every half an hour. And I did feel a little bit sick, I think halfway, so I did stop having the sweets, but they really did give me that like burst of energy. But I just felt so sick I couldn't stomach it. Just completed your first marathon major, would you do another major? Yes. I want to complete all 7 now world majors. Is that a bit toxic of me? I don't know, but once I get something in my head, I want to do it. Like, I am very determined, so you bet in my life I will complete all 7 world majors, or however many they're going to add. I think they're going to add 9. I'm going to do it. Watch me. How was the London Marathon for hills? Guys, I thought London was flat. Everyone tells me it's flat, so I don't know what other marathons there are that are hilly, but London was not flat for me. It was, I'd say it's undulating. There was probably like 12 hills. Like, I'm going to call them hills. They're probably not hills to some people, but they were hills to me, and it really, really hurt. So yeah, I wouldn't say London Marathon is flat, to be honest. I'm going to say it. So be prepared. If you run it next year, there's hills. What are your top 3 marathon tips? I would say carb load from 3 days before. That helped me so much. I had all the energy in the world. I didn't hit the wall. I will go into what happened in a bit. I did not hit the wall because I carb loaded. It was great. Tip 2 would be turn those nerves into excitement. I wasn't actually nervous at all. I can really say that I wasn't. I just fueled all that apprehension into excitement, and I was so excited. I was just ready to have, honestly, the best day ever, whatever it threw at me, because it was my first marathon especially. Thirdly, I would say do not try anything new on race day. That's from your clothing to your fueling to how, like, what pace you go at. Like, do not try anything that you haven't tried in your training runs, on those long runs, because that would make such a difference. Favourite part of the course apart from Tower Bridge? I would say actually the embankment, so the last 3k, which is kind of funny because I feel like at that point people are like, oh my god, just get it done. I suddenly had this kind of burst of energy, and honestly like 5 groups of my friends were there, on the embankment, like cheering me on. So I had literally 5 bursts of like, come on, you can do this. And I think that really, really helped. And just the atmosphere towards the end, when you see Buckingham Palace and then the end and it's like 200 yards to go, honestly, if I could bottle that feeling up, it was incredible. Like, incredible. I actually found that more incredible than Tower Bridge, personally. Tower Bridge was insane, but just like seeing the finish, like I had visualised seeing the finish like for weeks before, and the fact I'd made it and the crowds at the end were insane, and just crossing that finish line, I cannot put into words that feeling. Like, I have never felt like that in my life. I was euphoric. Like, if I could have that feeling every day, I was literally on drugs. I wasn't, but I felt like it. So I'd say embankment and then the like last 200 yards. Where was your outfit from? So my shorts and my top were from Lululemon. They were the Hossy Hot shorts and the Energy bra, which I absolutely love. Highly, highly recommend. Was this your first marathon and how did it go? So yes, it was my first marathon, and I touched on it very briefly in the last video. It did not go to plan, and I do think like everyone was in the same boat because of the conditions. It was a very hot day, kind of out of the blue. We hadn't trained for those conditions. We trained in the winter of the UK, and nothing prepared me for that. So long story short, I did absolutely everything right in training, absolutely everything right in the week before, but the day it just didn't go well. So there were showers, as I mentioned, every mile on the course, and I needed that to cool me down because I was so hot. And as a result, I was literally like soaked. I can't describe, like literally just got out of a shower vibe, like completely soaked every mile because I needed it. I really needed it. But as a result, from 5k, I started having shooting pains up my back, and I think it was because my belt was on my back, like around my waist, and the water had made it so incredibly heavy, and it just weighed on my back way too much, and I started having shooting pains from 5k onwards. Every step I took, my back like shot up with a very piercing pain up my spine, and it was horrific. I genuinely don't think if my friends and my family were stationed throughout the race, I would have literally like quit the race at like 14k. I just couldn't have done it. But knowing that they were making such an effort to come and see me all throughout like the race, I was like, I have to get to them. Like every single point I was like, no, they've done this for me, I'm gonna have to see them. Honestly, the reason I got through. And then obviously the showers, my feet were also soaking wet but also really hot, so that created blisters from like the friction. And I have experienced blisters before, but not on the scale of that. My whole foot into my toes has a huge blister on it, and honestly it's like webbed feet, and I've never experienced that before. It's literally the size of this, and every single step my back was shooting pain, and then my foot was like in agony, and I think I could have dealt with like one pain, but the fact there was 2 pains going on, it really threw me off. And because I'd never really experienced anything like that in training, like my training runs always went really good, I was just like, okay. So I ended up walking it from half marathon, which was really hard and just a big shock for me. But yeah, that's how overall my experience went. And I think if it wasn't for my friends, my family and the crowds of London, I would not have been able to do that. Like physically I would have been like, I'm out, see ya. Would you redo your marathon? Yes, I would. I want to do another one because of my experience of London. Have you got any other races planned? Yes, I do. I have Hackney Half in 2 weeks time, so we're going to see how that goes. I'm not going to push it. If I feel like I can't do it, I'm going to sell the ticket, but currently that is the plan. And then I have the Saucony 10k in London in July, so I'd quite like to get a 10k PB. And then I have the big half in September, which hopefully I'll be fine for. And then towards the end of the year, I kind of just want to get a 5k PB probably. So that's my plan for the rest of this year. But I'm definitely thinking a marathon again next year. How nervous were you before the start? So my parents drove me up to the nearest possible point, and then I had to get 2 trains to the start, and I did that on my own, just because of logistics. It would have not worked out for them to then come see me actually race, and I think that was more important to see me at like 20k. So I said goodbye to them, and that's when I was like, okay, I'm actually doing this. Like, next time I see you, I will be in pain probably. So I got a bit nervous then, and especially because everyone around me kind of had someone that was coming to the start with them. But honestly, I think I'd actually be even more nervous if someone came with me to the start, because I'd be talking about it. Instead, I was just like in my zone, eating my bagel, like, we got this. So I wasn't really that nervous, but saying goodbye to them and realising like the next time I see them I will be probably struggling was making me a bit nervous for sure. And also when I was in my pen walking to the start line, seeing the start line, I was like, okay, this is real, and it kind of all happened very quickly. So I was a bit nervous then for sure. Did you run the same pace the whole run? No. I started out very conservative, very slow, and my idea was to then pick it up from 30k, to be honest, not even from half marathon, because that's kind of what you're meant to do apparently, I don't know. So my plan was literally to go super chilled, but from what I've just kind of said about my back and my blisters, I ended up going even slower than I have ever ran ever, to be honest, literally ever. So it didn't go to plan. I didn't run the whole race at the same pace, but that's fine. That's fine. Did it work okay with your bib number being on the side of your shorts? So the bib number was huge, so I couldn't put it on my sports bra, which is what I normally do for races. So it was the first time I was having it on my shorts, and I couldn't feel it at all. It was great up until 35k, and the top bit came off, which was so annoying. So I had to kind of walk and redo the pin. But I only think it came off because I was literally in those showers and downing myself with water. It got so wet and so crumpled and so fragile that it just came off. But it worked really, really well. I actually way preferred it on my shorts than here. It was just, I think it would be a bit too much. So yeah, I think it worked well, unless there's showers on the course and you get absolutely drenched. How long did you leave to get there, set up and be at the start? So my start time was 11 o'clock, but I had to be there at 9:30, so an hour and a half before. And I live, I want to say like an hour from central London, so we left my house at 7:30 in the morning for an 11 o'clock start. I didn't actually anticipate how busy the trains were going to be, so I actually ended up getting there at 10, so that was a lot of travel time. 7:30 to 10, like, can you just think about that? That was a lot, and it didn't matter that was that a little bit later, to be honest, so that was fine. But yeah, it was a long time. I think next time I potentially would get a hotel, but I just think I sleep best in my own bed, and it was fine. But yeah, it is a lot of time to travel. What running watch would you recommend? I absolutely love the Coros Pace Pro and also the Coros Apex 3, best watches out there. I also have a heart rate monitor from them, which I'm super excited to use. I saw a lot of people in the marathon wear it, and I just haven't got around to setting up yet. So Coros, by far, best watch. What was the hardest kilometer? Every kilometer from kilometer 5? No, I would say, honestly, kilometer 20 to 30 was really hard. I think just from the pain, to be honest, the blisters came and I was still having problems with my back, and it was still such a long way to go. And at that point you're in Canary Wharf, which is the pits. Literally can't even describe how hard that is mentally. So yeah, I would say kilometer 20 to 30 because it just is such a long way to the finish, like you're only halfway. And I actually found kilometers 30 to 42 pretty okay considering it's like so late into the race and you're pretty knackered. I found it okay compared to 20 to 30 kilometers. How did you push through the hard parts? There's a couple of things. I would say I was so determined to get to the end and nothing was going to stop me. I had visualised it so much that I was like, nothing's going to stop me. Like, I could literally have a broken leg and I will get to that finish line somehow. Knowing my parents, my friends, my boyfriend, my work friends had come all this way and made such an effort to support me around the whole course, I was like, I will get to them. Like, they were still at 15k, 18k, 25k, 30k, 35k, 40k, like I was going to get to each station. Like, they had made such an effort, so I needed to get there for them and for me. And also I was saying kind of mantras to myself, like, I used to not be able to run at all. I get to run and that's a privilege, and if it was easy, everyone would be doing it. If it was easy, all the people in the crowds would be on that course, but it's not, and it is hard. And then finally, this is a bit of a deep one, but I was literally imagining someone had a gun to my mum's head, and if I stopped and if I quit, the gun would have gone off. Like, that really pulled me through, because couldn't let that happen, could I? So a fair few tactics that were going through my mind. How long before did you prepare? So I did a 16-week block of marathon training. However, I would say before that, for probably a month, I was building up my long run slowly, because my first run on the 16-week program was, I think it was a 18k, and I was just like, I cannot just bash out an 18k like that. So the month before, so that was December, I was just gradually increasing my runs. So I did a 12k, a 14k, a 16k, and then another 12k to then lead me into the block of 16 weeks in January, which started at 18k for the long run. So I guess you could say it was almost 20 weeks of training, but my runner plan that I used was a 16-week block. Some people, I think, train for 12 weeks, or some people that are going from couch to marathon, I think train from like August, September time, but that really worked for me. And yeah, and those are all the questions, and I just want to leave it on, if you were just even thinking of, oh yeah, I want to run a marathon, do it. Because if you have that inkling in your mind, you can do it, and it's the best thing that I have ever done. And I have fully caught the marathon bug, even though I had pretty hellish time. I want to do it again. Like, I want to know I can beat my time. I did it in 4 hours and 59 minutes. I was on track for 4.5-ish minutes. So I almost want to prove to myself I can do that, and I think it was just those tough conditions that made it really hard, because I think everyone was roughly either 20 to 30 minutes slower than what they were going to be with the heat. So yeah, honestly, the most painful day of my life for sure. Like 5 hours of, well, 4.5 hours from 5k of actual pain, but the most euphoric, beautiful, best day of my life, and I will be wearing this medal for the foreseeable. Just sign up for that marathon, because you can do hard things, and if I can run a marathon, so can you.